Wait. Nobody heard what you just said.
Are any of these mics on?
Because I'm an incompetent fool.
Hello. It's on now, right?
It is now. Oh, that would have been a disaster.
Pay attention.
Yes. And sorry, everybody. Hello. Everybody, I think everybody can hear us now.
Anyways, let the song play all the way out for two reasons. It's the end of the season.
It is the end of the season.
Oh my goodness.
It's
what a season. It was good, right?
Flat Out Fever, episode 89 for everybody. We are at Flat Out Fever on Twitter, youtube.com/c/Flat Out Fever podcast. We are on Reddit, Flat Out Fever, all your social media. Actually, not all of it, but some of it. And we're there. Sorry, I know that I'm stalling right now.
No.
Also,
important formalities are important.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so yes, why don't we get right to it?
Yes. Go. It was a good season, right?
Well,
oh my god.
Listen, this season was great. This season, okay, and it's like one of those things where you go. If you go, okay, so when you're a kid, right? When you're a kid and you go to Disney World, right, or Disneyland or anything like that, you may not necessarily be as impressed at the shit because you actually show up and the lineups are long and everything like seems kind of fakey, and most of the stuff is from the 1800s, so it actually like it looks pretty aged. Like you see most kids right now in Disney World are probably holding their phone while they're like walking around, right? So if
everybody everywhere,
yeah, if you go into something with high expectations and then it's good, you're like just satisfied, right? But if you go into something with low to no expectations and all of a sudden you get delighted, then it counts so much more. And I think that's why everybody's talking about this year as being one of the years for the history of F1. And honestly, I think it is, but for more than that reason. I think standing alone itself as a season, 2016 has deserved a place in the history books of Formula One, even if it was the season after Niki Lauda and James Hunt.
Not if you count the noise, though. Am I right?
Yeah, not with the noise. Yeah.
No, it's good too, man. Anyway, the whole season, like how crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, can't go through the whole thing right now, but all the way from.
Well, we're not going to, but
the knockout qualifying business. That was this year.
That happened. Remember that? Remember?
The season was so long, too.
Remember that stupid qualifying?
So
the longest season in Formula One history.
And it came down to the second last lap.
The second.
Basically.
The
last lap was pretty much decided, but like they weren't fighting really then. It was like a parade.
We couldn't have asked for a better year. Honestly, this is great for F1.
Oh, it was so good.
It remember, you know what else?
I had no doubt.
You know what else got
Ever.
said this very year? Bernie said that F1 was so boring he wouldn't take his family.
He wouldn't take his family to watch it. Remember Lewis? His mom only came like
Louis
once.
the Grim. It was a mediocre season with a handful of excellent races. Get the hell out.
No.
You have to look at it in perspective. Of course, yes, it was the longest season in F1 history. Period. So that alone means that you can't really compare this season to many others. Like at the very beginning, remember when Nico Rosberg, I think, won. I think it was 8 races, I think. On the 8th race that he won, then immediately people started calling and saying like, "Oh, ha 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 ha! If Nico doesn't win this championship, he's gonna be already the driver with the most wins in a season that hasn't won the championship." At that point, bringing up that stat, irrelevant and completely uncalled for. Like, yes, you can say that all day back then, and then I think this was like halfway through the year, just after the winter break, or sorry, the summer break. But
up until early Sunday evening, it was true.
Well, but you could have said that back then, but it in everybody's mind it didn't hold that much of a weight because you had to look at it in the backdrop that this was the longest season ever. So it doesn't matter. Like, those stats didn't really matter back then. If Nico was like the winningest driver without a championship for a season, at that point it didn't make much of a difference. Now obviously it does. So hey,
I don't have the full stats in front of me, but if that was still true, at the time when, say, we were before the average length of a Formula One season, it was relevant.
Yeah,
it was true for a little bit.
Yeah,
at least for a few months.
No,
he had that on his mind.
It definitely was, and it
he got asked about it every week.
I think he also like broke. I mean, right now he set the bar really, really high for number of wins before you get your world championship. Like, he's had like the highest by far. it's ridiculous. It's being a long time. Well, actually, he'd like to think that it's been a long time coming. But obviously, you can't discount it. Let's get this out of the way straight away. Of course, you cannot discount the fact that Lewis Hamilton had his mechanical problems building up to this to the last race. Obviously, you can't discount that. But that still, and I want to remind everybody, it still does not mean he's any less of a deserving champion.
Dude, okay. You just said that. Everyone on Sky TV said that. Everyone on Channel 4 said that. Mm-hmm. And everyone that they talked to up and down the paddock, they're interviewing, what do you think? Lewis, look, Nico just won the championship. Lewis won the race. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Everyone said, oh, what a great season. But, Nico deserved it. He definitely deserved that. Mm-hmm. If Lewis won, nobody would be saying that. They would be like, yeah, obviously he won again. And it came down to 5 points anyways. It came down to 5 points. What are you doing over there? It came down to 5 points. Yeah. How many engines was everyone supposed to use this year?
4. 5 because
5 technically
races.
Because of 21 races. Yes. Okay. How many did Lewis use? 8! 8 of them.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't this...
I'm not sure how many Nico used though.
Let's put
I think it was 5.
all of that to bed and just say, right, like, honestly, if you're listening to this podcast right now, if you're watching right now, you have to like, it's not like an up for discussion thing, not even like, you know what was even more up for
everybody
discussion?
Wants to discuss it though.
No, but no,
everyone wants to everyone that
you know which championship in my mind was more up for discussion than this one? 2009, Jenson Button getting that, and it was because it was you could make a successful argument that it was all down to his car. Yes, his teammate was, of course, right, but you could call, like, and the argument and people that are sort of losers have been making it, when Alonso lost in 2012 and to Vettel, in his series.
But at the same time,
at the nomination, you heard me. I was one of the first people to be like, "Oh my god, if only I had the car." But at the end, we all have to suck it up and admit what happened. And what happened, and what's gonna go into the record books, is that Lewis Hamilton, whereas he did win the last 2 years, and whereas he might objectively be the better driver, all things considered, and if you were giving them, like if you were to analyze them side by side, yes, he very well might be more talented, better at this, better at that, whatever you want to call it. Nico Rosberg is our champion, and all of us,
he's the champion of the world of Formula One driving basically, more or less,
and
driving single seater open wheel cars.
And whereas Lewis Hamilton may have been more brilliant than him more times, even this year,
especially in the last 5 or 6 or 7 laps,
the fact remains that when he finished, like, he had to do it. He had to get it done, and he proved to everybody in this race, and we'll get back to this, but yeah, the overtake on Verstappen, like that, he had to do. Like, everybody's talking about that, like how. Yeah. If anything, that alone reminded everybody, like, oh, okay, hang on a second, this guy actually can drive. And what he did in Singapore earlier in the year, and whenever Lewis had a mechanical problem, he was there to capitalize on it. So listen, it's not like he doesn't, like, saying that he doesn't deserve it is not giving enough credit to the man, to the team, to the sport in general.
And pause there for a sec. Go back to the Jenson Button 09 championship. Yeah. You can read the sentence that you said 2 ways. And I think it applies to this too, is that Jenson Button, he won the championship because he was in that car. Mm-hmm. Because he was in that car. Yeah. Like, they didn't just be like, hey Jay, hey Danny, here's the keys for the the brown most badass car of the year. He earned that seat, right?
Yes.
And same as Nico earned his seat here.
Yep.
And even though, like, that car was better than all the other cars, he was the dude that was in it, and he beat his teammate, and same as now, right? And he was in it. And maybe that year or this year, whoever was in that car would have won, right? Mm-hmm. Almost anyone on the grid, maybe not 1 or 2 guys.
Not Gutierrez. Tell you that.
I didn't say it. Well, he wouldn't have had any to worry about too many blue flags.
Yeah.
Up in the Mercedes. But yeah, those are the reasons. Like, yes, people try to take... It's just haters. Like, people want to take something away from them. But everybody that was asked about Nico Rosberg on Sunday qualified their statement, saying he's the champion. He deserves it, and he deserves it.
Absolutely.
Nobody says that usually, because normally that's just implied that he's the fucking champion. Well, this year was crazier than any. Whether or not,
well, I mean, not than any ever, but certainly the most exciting year that we've had in recent history. It's the most exciting year of the turbo or of the hybrid era,
for sure. It's only gonna have to get better, right? Next year, there's no tokens anymore.
Yes.
But one more thing, quick. Maybe I forgot.
Okay, whatever. Let me squeeze in another more clerical duties that we have right now. Sorry, guys. Just hang in there for a minute. I just have to say a couple things. So yes, first, thank you so very, very much to everybody that showed up to our and season ender screening at Betty's. It was an amazing time. People, when we just heard some stories of people going through such lengths to not spoil the race for themselves, like staying away of all the internet because it was too early. We did it on a delay, but still we had a packed house. And thank you to Betty's for agreeing to let us do this. They kind of just gave us blind faith that we would be able to pack the room, and we did. And as a thank you, they even gave us some free beer. That was pretty sweet. So thank you to Betty's. Thank you to everybody that showed up to Betty's. Honestly, we're only doing this because we want to grow the F1 community. We really, really, really just love the sport and want to share our passion with all you guys, whether you show up live to come see the screenings or listen to the show. Really, really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much. Great season, great year. There's definitely more to come, and as soon as the calendar is confirmed next year, we're gonna do it all over again at Betty's. Now, second thing,
I remembered what I was gonna say.
yeah,
Everyone also that was asked, and some people that weren't asked also said, yeah, you can't win the championship without luck anyways.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah, exactly. Luck is it has to be a part of the sport. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is so here's the thing. I know that a lot of people are just getting into our podcast right now. We obviously, and thank you for subscribing. Thanks to all of our new listeners. If you're new and you're here, welcome. If you've been here for a while, then you probably know this, but you might not. We are going to continue to do this podcast throughout the winter. We won't stop. We're not going to take a break. And what that means is that we do have a few things coming up down the pipeline for the weeks to come. We're going to do a full season recap later. We're going to do the whole team by team. All of that is to come. We have tons of material to fill the winter. But for now, this podcast, and because we want to also wait for Mike to come back, we're just going to stick to a race recap and a race review for the most part.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, so please keep going now.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone basically said, yeah, you can't really win it without luck anyways. So, which is true. Both are true. Nico Rosberg is the world champion, though. That is also true. Second father-son pairing ever. Damon Hill probably was really rooting for Lewis.
But not.
Well, now he's got a club, though. He's got a club to hang out in. They can each get a special coin or something to carry around. I don't know.
It's funny because those two kind of had there's parallels to be drawn in with the two of them. Now, Graham Hill for sure was a way more impressive champion than KK Rosberg. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm sorry, KK. KK won only one championship. Nice.
Yeah.
But their kids, both,
whose mustache was cooler though?
Who's KK's or Damon's? Oh, I gotta go for
Graham Hill.
I gotta go for Graham. That old style
it's so classic. I don't know. I'm torn, man. His was so fucking classy, and with the times though, a lot of people had that. It was a lot of actors and stuff had that.
Yeah.
But KK's from.
Hang on, let me put that up. I'm still trying to figure this out. Sorry, guys.
I guess If you picture this. KK's mustache.
Yeah.
Right. Put it on Graham's face. Graham's mustache on KK's face.
It wouldn't work.
Yeah, they're both to their times, right?
Yeah.
So well, okay. How about this? If Graham Hill had a shower and washed his hair, and then KK Rosberg just greased the shit out of his and gooped it backwards. Then they switch mustaches. It might work, right?
Yeah, true.
Damon Hill and Nico Rosberg shave every morning, though. Maybe not every morning.
No,
maybe
I've seen Damon with a nice beard. Now, at least.
These guys 20 years apart, the championships, and both 34 years from their fathers somehow.
Yes, actually,
stamp that on the coin, mint it.
I have a funny a quote that I saw on Reddit. It was more, it was so there's been 34 years in between, the two Rosbergs and the two Hills.
Yeah.
And then somebody commented, so it's gonna. I saw it on Reddit. I forgot the thread.
It sounds like geological stuff.
Well, they say so. So what? It's gonna be another 24 years before Filipino almost gets the championship. I found that hilarious. If everybody remembers what happened, remember Ferrari 07. Anyway, but no, it's this I find very curious though, because there clearly is this group is gonna have a third father. Well, actually, hang on a second. No, it won't. I just thought I was thinking of Verstappen, but Verstappen is just a mere son of an F1 driver, not an F1 champion.
Yeah, he wasn't the champion.
Yeah,
right, he wasn't the champion.
No way.
And actually, the Hills achieved theirs with less races driven because of Nico. It's all Nico's fault. You already talked about that stat.
Well, no, listen, you can't really compare them that way, because there was just
for the Hills
so many less races in the calendar back in the day, right?
And Nico drove so many before he won his championship. Anyways, the Hills 291 with the Rosbergs is at 320 right now.
Yeah,
but they got the Hills got 36 wins out of those, whereas the Rosbergs have 28 so far. That's significant.
Mm-hmm.
The podiums 78 to 74. The Rosbergs do it on qualifying day though. Look at that. 35. Probably about the same though if you average out the races. But laps led. But they used to have even actually longer races, didn't they? Certain ones.
Yeah.
They were all different.
If you go way back into Graham Hill's days.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He raced in the Nürburgring, in the full Nürburgring and the full Spa, for example.
See, that must be it, because here's a big disparity. The Hills at 291 races drove 2,461 laps, and led, not drove. Sorry. I missed that word.
Yeah.
So that makes sense actually. They just kicked ass more.
Yeah. Do you know how many races did KK Rosberg win when he won the championship?
No, did you just find out?
Yeah.
Tell me now.
1.
What? Oh yeah, I've heard this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heard this before. What this is
16
also
races. One out of 16 races. The championship was much shorter back in the day, of course.
Well, it was shorter. 5 years ago, there was 17 races or 18.
Yeah.
That was the average 16, 17, 18.
Yeah. So yeah,
that was always until recently.
KK is still the champion with the least amount of wins the year
ever.
Yes.
Ever? Yeah.
Well, yeah. For his year when he won, he only won once. That was. He
must have had a lot of seconds and thirds.
The Swiss Grand Prix back when they were allowed to race in Switzerland. That's illegal there now.
And with the old point system.
Yes. Yeah, with the old fucked up point system.
Which you didn't get as much of a bonus for a win back then. You got a 1 point more than anybody else. It was 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And you got to pick out of the two halves, or you could pick half of the races that not to count, or something like that.
Oh yeah. That was some weird shit. The way it is now makes a lot more sense.
Listen, the Rosbergs, you might categorize them as maybe the least deserving champions.
The least deserving father-son pair.
The least deserving father-son combination.
At least Damon's got that forever.
You know what? I'll take that. I'll say, you know what? I can agree with that. You Hamilton fans, if that's what you want me to say in this show, I'll say that. Out of the two father-son combinations, yes, I'd say that maybe the Rosbergs are a bit behind on this. But listen, okay, I just want to say it once again. Saying that Nico Rosberg is an undeserving champion is belittling the history and traditions of the sport, an immense amount. It probably just means that you only got into F1 recently and haven't understood what this is all about. But let me tell you, if you haven't yet, take my word for it. This is how things are, and luck is a huge part of it. And you know what? Sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't. This year, it didn't go for Lewis Hamilton.
Just didn't go. 5 points. 5 points.
Yeah.
that's less than the bonus of one win. But anyways, you can't argue what you just said though. Like we're laughing and stuff, but still, like Graham Hill took 2 championships in the '60s when F1 was fucking crazy dangerous.
Graham Hill was the man.
And Damon Hill took his in '96 when it was still really dangerous, and he fought pretty hard for it.
Well, he basically only got the chance to be the number 1 at Williams because Senna died. Remember that. He's the guy that got brought in because of that.
Yeah,
it's
gave me a little goosebumps.
Yeah,
but yeah, he didn't just drive out to the sunset on those races with that year either, right? Right. Yeah.
No,
and it wasn't just a fight with his teammate either. Like they fought with the good.
Uh-oh. Mike,
don't tell Mike the table's broken.
Mike, your table broke right now. Hang on a second. Technical difficulties.
Shit.
Wait a second.
Oh shit. But yeah, man, it was. Like, you can argue. Well, we should argue right now about how sportsmanlike was what Lewis did.
Okay. Yes.
In the race, right at the end.
Right to that. Okay.
Because a lot of people say, and I don't know, I'm sure both fans and non-fans will say it, that he should have just drove off to the sunset and just proved like I'm the best. You can't touch me. Even though I lost this championship, I'll be back, and just do it like that, and then just finish this. Come to the press conference with that mindset and be like, yeah, look, I just proved I'm way faster than everyone else anyways. Nico couldn't touch me, no one else did. Thanks Mercedes, we just still did a 1-2. Do that.
Yeah.
Or finish his last few laps 9 or 10 seconds almost slower than his qualifying lap. Have everyone
Martin Brundle.
Anyone would have done that.
Martin Brundle at the end, he was like he was talking to Lewis, and he was like, Lewis, I just said on TV, show me a bad loser. Wait, no, sorry, he said something like,
it's that old quote.
Oh no, he said,
show me a bad loser and I'll show you a loser.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
a good loser. Show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the quote.
Yeah, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. Listen,
Lewis was like, well, I just won that race. And Martin Brundle's like, well, yeah, you know, but
no, listen, if Martin Brundle probably kind of had to say that because he's with the British media, and the British media they have an obligation to the British people apparently to pander to Lewis 24/7 and not have an objective opinion, but.
Oh, he's looking for him to shit on Rosberg though on live TV.
Not like that. What Lewis
he's
did,
looking for a headline there.
He did what he had to do, and he played within the rules, right? Of course.
That's what he said. Yeah, that is the rules. The leader controls the pace.
Is he a
rain
sore loser?
Rain or dry.
And could he have like?
That was his only chance.
Remember when Vettel? Okay, so Vettel. This just reminds me of Vettel got interviewed once, and about why when he could go for not only the fastest lap. What the hell are you laughing at?
Just keep.
Okay, anyway, so when Vettel got interviewed, I think it was Brundle that did the interview, and I don't remember exactly, but he got asked like, "Yo, like you're showing up." Obviously, this was in his Red Bull years. Mm-hmm. You're showing up to the weekend, and you're doing fastest in every practice session. You're doing fastest in every qualifying session. You going for fastest lap, fastest pit stop, and winning the race. Like do you do that for the glory? Like, do you do that for glory or is this something else? Whatever. Like, what's your motivation for that? And he straight up said, "Listen, yeah, it's for the glory. It's for the." Like, yeah, I just want to, I want to have that. I want to be number one, whatever. Like, that's Vettel, right? Mm-hmm. He did that. That was his mentality. That was his approach to his championship. Mm-hmm. Lewis, on the other hand, and this has been referenced even by I think it was Mark Hughes from Motorsport Magazine, where I read this, that even Lewis's dad has described Lewis as a mercenary. And I think that's
Brundle used that word like 8 times in the broadcast.
Yeah, and I think what that means to a certain degree is that Lewis like actually might not be content with just the glory aspect of it that Vettel is searching for, but he also like is out to then go above and beyond and fuck with the other guy. Like if he can win the championship, and that was the last straw. That was the last card that he had to play, right?
Yeah, of course.
Back
him up.
Yeah,
that's racing tactics.
Yeah, completely defensible.
They probably were taught that when they were kids. Now Rosberg's complaining about it now or whatever, but that's probably in the racing 101, right? And I've never been to a racing lesson, but
it's like, and you can tell. Okay, so you know how
only chance. That was his only chance.
You know how politicians,
somebody gave him 35 million pounds and said he's the best.
Yeah. Well, you know how like traditional politicians during a campaign, they fucking openly and in front of everybody tell that the other guy is a piece of shit for many, many reasons. And listen to me. Let me show you how this guy's a piece of shit and he probably shouldn't even be alive, or, you know, him or her, whatever the case might be. But then as soon as the campaign is over and one gets elected, it's kind of like they like, oh, okay. Oh, well done, chap. Okay.
You talking about Hillary Clinton?
No. I'm saying like just in general. Like, oh, well done, chaps. Like that was a good campaigning. Oh, you were a tough opponent. No, you were a tough opponent. And then they go and have cocktails, right? I feel like there was a bit of that happening in the post-race interview, where like after the pressure was off, after it was out that Nico won, and like, you know, Lewis has to live with that, it's kind of like they both let their guards down. I don't know if you saw this, but like they were like it was like the first genuine smile that I saw in between the two of them this year was on the podium once, like, yeah, after when Coulthard was like, come on guys, like, all right, like he pointed out, he was basically like, all right, you can be real now, you can be real, all right, hey, you know, whatever. And they hugged each other, and like, that was a genuine show of like what it was.
They wouldn't have if Coulthard didn't tell them to, though.
No, but they probably would have down the line, you know.
The other side of that is on Thursday in the press conference, a bunch of racing news sites put up the story that these guys wouldn't shake hands after the press conference, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But apparently this was decided beforehand by whoever runs the press conference, that they wouldn't shake hands because that's a cheesy photo. And then when somebody asked them to, then they just decided to stick to the plan. So they were like, decided we won't shake hands before because it's cheesy, but like before the race to do that picture.
Yeah.
And just while you're talking about that, put up what I just put here since you brought it up.
Oh, sorry.
I noticed this at the end of the race in the press conference actually. And
wait,
I thought,
what is it? Sorry, I
so
see
at the
it.
bottom.
Is it on the book?
Yeah. During the post-race press conference when they were talking,
I thought that was very interesting. Ooh.
I thought that Lewis had taken his race suit off.
Oh no,
or maybe
that's not the
I was
one.
confused. No, it's okay. Look at the difference here. For anyone that's watching this, look at Rosberg's suit on the left.
So like, describe the scene. So what we're looking at right now is the podium. So right after the race, when they're giving each other a hug.
Yeah. So in the press conference part, I thought that Lewis had took his race suit off. Like, it was so clean. Look at him. He's shining white. Reflecting lights and camera flashes. Rosberg's suit is black on the front and the back. It's gray. It's all gray. I had like 4 pictures of this, but these are the closest together. Yeah, you can see it there. Lewis's still has the shininess, like whatever the fabric is, and Rosberg's is dirty. So like that's the difference. Lewis led the entire race.
Yeah,
he fell back for like 2 or 3 laps when he changed tires, and then everyone else changed tires right after him. And look at that. Like, you get just all covered in car exhaust and bits of tires and oil spraying out of the engine and shooting out the exhaust, like shit, dust flying up from off the racing line and the curbs. Look at that. The difference.
There is like, in this other picture, like you can see it right there because they're look, they're both wearing
This was I
This
just
should
like
be-
paused my TV and took a screenshot
This
of the.
should be the same color as that, like the exact same color, but it's not.
Yeah, this way I put the. You can't see. I had another one where you could see Rosberg's face, but they're like further apart. But it's a stark difference. This way I always say with these. I said this a couple weeks ago. Their suits always look filthy when they get out of the car. It looks like they shit their pants or they have diapers underneath or something. I guess they do have diapers underneath. But look at the difference.
Yeah.
Leading the race.
It's crazy.
And look where they are too. This is in Abu Dhabi. It's basically the desert. There's no like soil and stuff and stuff at this track.
Yeah.
At a lot of tracks, it's even worse probably because there's like grass and stuff. Like you probably get more shit flying everywhere.
Oh, what about the rain? Right? Like, yeah.
Well, it's
this must be
that's like
100 times
right.
in the rain.
Brazil was like a 2-hour shower. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? They should have been.
No, but like the amount of like this, the amount of stuff that the guy behind gets versus the guy in front, like the guy that's at the very front. Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
it's a completely different. Like we're talking about two drivers that are on the same circuit. They might be only a second away from each other, but they're experienced two completely different races.
Every car that's in front of you is another 100 kilograms of fuel exhaust that's burning in front of your face. You have to drive through that smoke, right?
Yeah,
105 kilos next year.
yeah.
That's a lot of gas. And I don't know how many hundreds of tires that gets worn out into your face, right?
Unit Z.
Unit Z.
Yeah, from the chat right now said that.
Is it British? Is it Z?
I have no idea. We're in Canada, so Unit Z. So Merrick had crappy rules of engagement for the last race. They knew he would back Rosberg. What do you think about that?
Well, they did because they talked about it on Sky that.
Yeah.
Well, Brando said he heard that they had talked to the drivers that Lewis wouldn't back up Rosberg.
Mhm.
And I went back and checked. Like, remember when at Betty? Well, it was like there was like 20-some, 30 people at Betty's all talking. So sometimes you couldn't hear the TV well. But one of the last, or maybe the last, Lewis radio message that they played just sounded like, just like it was kind of shitty. Anyways, well, I went back and checked. What he said was, "I've already lost the championship. I'm not losing the race."
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
When he was asked, like,
To please speed up, like the Vettel's gonna catch up to Ross or whatever. The Vettel and Verstappen's right behind you.
Yeah.
Obviously they wanted the 1-2, obviously, but I'm sure he got a spanking today, especially the
who, Lewis? No, it's all forgotten and forgiven. Well, I mean, if you were to believe Rosberg's press statement or whatever.
They said afterwards the entire team flew to Kuala Lumpur to celebrate. So they're going to oil headquarters. So he might have got a spanking over there. Mike said he could hear Mango.
Yeah, sorry. Or whatever.
So if you can hear that, that's Mango.
Yeah.
Mango the bird.
He's a little bird that lives in his hands. Okay, so now, but hang on a second. Let's go back to how the weekend started, because the way the weekend started, I thought that there was gonna I didn't see Sebastian Vettel like
rising.
He
seemed like the old guy.
That's what Brundle said in the middle of the broadcast. Like, hey, look, it's the old Vettel.
Maybe he got online and saw all his fans were moaning about him being down on himself or something.
Let's go back. Vettel has been the guy that has won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix more than anybody else, right? Like since the beginning of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, like I think he's won like an overwhelming amount. So this is a circuit. If you were to go by like the whole cliches. Yes, this is a circuit that Sebastian Vettel loves, right? So, and maybe he did feel like the extra confidence to approach the corners a certain way here, whatever this and that. But no, he did a good job. He actually hey, I was shit talking about Vettel the last couple podcasts, and then I saw him there, and like I guess he still has it, but like why wait till like the end of the year to deploy that kind of a Vettel,
Yeah,
I thought Verstappen was gonna be way more of a threat, and honestly, he was. Like
Yeah.
And he did his Verstappen thing.
He spun around at the start of the race. He's doing that on purpose. He did that a few times this year.
Yeah,
Stop doing it. Stop showing off, man.
Yeah, he's being aggressive.
He knows he can't beat the Mercedes, so he's like, I'll just spin at the start of the race, so then I'll just kick everyone's ass anyway. I'll come in second or third. It'll be second, third, or fourth, He knows he could do it anyways.
But he wasn't as much of a threat as I thought. And I thought that Vettel was definitely going to be a bit more demoralized.
I think Vettel, it's what we've been talking about, that he probably had some bad shit in his life. I don't know, some kind of stress, something. I don't know. He's a human, right? Bad stuff happens sometimes.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was. He's just, then maybe he's over it now. He's like, it's the end of the season, whatever. Let's party. Let's get this done. He did it.
Nice.
And hopefully he'll be ready. He's been testing the new cars, so maybe he's like, fuck yes, these are going to be so cool.
Actually, yeah, somebody in the chat mentioned that way earlier. The token systems are gone for next year. So
yeah,
maybe Ferrari showed him something like, hey.
I said that at the start of this.
Yeah.
There's no. Yeah, maybe that he's been driving the test cars, right? All the drivers have been saying like, holy shit, we're all gonna have to get to the gym a few more times to strengthen our necks. Ferrari's testing, so he's driven it, and then there's been a bunch of articles, speculation, tech guys saying that these test mules, they keep calling them, aren't even actually close to what next year's downforce actually will be anyways. And because Pirelli was complaining, saying like, we need to be testing with the downforce that we're going to use on these tires, whatever.
Well, the problem with doing that is, as far as I understand it, is that
these are old chassis. They're not built to withstand like the extra 1,000 kilos of downforce or whatever they're going to add, and 6 or 8 or 1,000 kilos.
With the mules, the way that they're approaching it is that they're adding like extra
little winglets on the back
elements, in the front and back wings to kind of like compensate. But that's not gonna be the low distribution of downforce once the cars are finished, because there's gonna be downforce coming from all kinds of different directions, not just the front and back wing.
And
it's gonna be like
the floor
itself. Yeah,
the diffuser is like 3 times as big, more than twice as big. It's gigantic.
Absolutely.
But I think even just from the mules, whether or not Ferrari showed him anything, because I don't think they would have showed him anything, because he was getting spanked himself. I don't know what, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, by the Arriva Bene. Ferrari made a whole thing to set up a press conference with a set and everything for Arriva Bene to say about how they're gonna spank him. He was gonna be like, he needed to calm down and just drive or something, whatever they said.
Yeah. Don't try to be like Michael. That's what they told him.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But okay, so let's go back to this race, right?
Yeah, Verstappen and Vettel both kicked ass.
Yes.
Ricciardo.
If you look at it from where qualifying though started, Ricciardo got third in qualifying, but where was he during the race again?
He didn't get obviously Verstappen's strategy worked way better. Just stay out until the tires almost pop, and then you switch them once. Danny Ricciardo, the only guy who finished every race this season, though. The only racer, the only car.
Really?
Yep.
Did he finish in the points every time?
That I don't know, but I know he finished every race. He's the only one that did. He never crashed or had a technical failure.
Fair enough. Good. No, yeah,
pretty good. That's a good stat, right? Especially 21 races. That's like a season and a half. Normally.
He's been a great driver, obviously, and he still has. He's been showing that he can put up with Verstappen, but we'll really see where that head-to-head is next year. Honestly, like once they go like a full season, just the two of them. Like
for Danny Rick, just to get through that middle part, like when Verstappen was first trying to show off, he was all like pumped up with ego, and he first got boosted up. He first got the promotion.
Raikkonen again, out qualifying Vettel.
He did it, 11-10.
But then going down during the race. Now, the last time out, it wasn't his fault. Whatever, like his engine, whatever it is that blew up.
In Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil. But this time it's the same story. So at the start, both of those two somehow lost it, and Vettel and Verstappen seized the opportunity, and then they went for it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who else do we got? Nico Hülkenberg. Another great job from the current Force India driver.
Yeah, but Perez is 7th in the driver's standings for the season.
Yeah.
Behind, obviously, the 2 Mercedeses, the 2 Ferraris, and the 2 Red Bulls. He's 7th though, and he actually beat Nico Hülkenberg by 30-some points.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Nico Hülkenberg was nowhere for the rest for this year, but
yeah,
these last couple of races, he's been up there, showing, I guess, like why he deserved that Renault seat. I guess.
Do you remember this now?
Yeah. This
was, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago, when Perez first came in. And this was on the BBC. Brundle was interviewing him, and they showed this just like offhand, like 30-second, 1-minute interview with Perez, and when he was at McLaren, and he said, "Yeah, you know what? Like, he was like being cocky. He's like, yeah, I just got here.
I'm gonna take over this team.
One day I'm gonna be leading this team. I'm here to win the championship. You're gonna see me up front, whatever."
Yeah.
Now he's doing it, and look at Force India too, with their punching above their weight. I don't actually believe that they're punching
where
they're beating Williams legit. That's like saying that Force India is punching above their weight is the same thing as people making a qualification for saying that Nico Rosberg's the champion and he deserves it. Force India is 4th place in the constructors because he deserves it. Or because they deserve it. But next year Perez has a new teammate, so he's basically got to prove himself again, because he's almost where Ricciardo was, with a young guy trying to come up behind him now, where he's leading the team and take over. But yeah, Hülkenberg has to Hülkenberg's never managed to get on the podium, but I don't know. Obviously, he thinks he sees a better opportunity elsewhere. Going down the list from yesterday, Felipe Massa finished. He got points in his last race. That was pretty cool for him.
Yeah, an emotional finish for him.
Yeah, again, 2 in a row.
Yeah, I guess so.
2 emotional finishes.
Jensen not coming back next year. Probably not coming back ever.
No, probably not ever. Well, let's going down the list here still.
Oh. So sorry, actually, do you need? How's your drink?
My beer is empty.
Yeah, I'll be right back with beers.
Yeah, Felipe Massa, but he finished his last race in the points. Fernando Alonso in the points. He was having a few fights up and down the grid there too. Me and Jay were saying during the race when we were watching it that it seemed like McLaren just told him, just go flat out, man. Just see what you can do with the car today. We don't need the points. This is the last race. Let's do this. And he finished with a point anyway. But Fernando Alonso, I think, is the only driver this whole season to have never lost a position. He gained like 44 or something like that.
Yeah.
He's up there in the gains, but he was a driver. He never lost a position from the start of a race this year.
You know that there's...
Except from when he flipped upside down and almost died.
There's another driver that has more impressive stats this year.
Than who?
Than Alonso.
For passes?
No. In a McLaren. And that's Stoffel Van Dorn.
Stoffel Van Dorn.
100% points of the races that he participated. He was in the points 100% of the time. I think that's something to be admired for a McLaren driver this year.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Actually, no. Alonso did. I mean, it took a while for him, the first few races, to get his footing. Actually, are we actually doing like a slight season review right now? No,
we're just going through the results of yesterday.
Listen, he ended in a credible 10th place in the points, yet again,
Alonso?
outdriving his McLaren Honda, as is tradition. That's just what Alonso does. Alonso just outdrives his machinery.
Mm-hmm. And he finished less than half a second the whole race distance. He finished the race less than half a second behind Massa and the Williams.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're gonna have any engine problems next year.
Alonso's a badass.
Remember, I was just saying when you're getting the beers, I was just saying how we said on Sunday. It seemed like McLaren just told him, just go balls out, man, go flat out, see what you can do today, whatever. Because why not? Like just to reward him for the season. He never lost a place. He did his Alonso thing. He got them some good press. You know, they had those couple memes and stuff. Except he had some bad press too. He almost died like twice.
Yeah. But that's what it takes to be Alonso, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the first one was definitely not his fault.
No.
Well, who knows what that incident was?
Let's go and talk though.
Grosjean. The two Haas's finished 11 and 12, so Gutierrez at least went out on as high a note as he could have hoped for. He at least finished beside his teammate.
Honestly, you know how Julian Palmer made it back to F1, and we both had been like almost not necessarily campaigning, but we've been saying in this podcast for a while that, listen, he doesn't deserve the drive, but he's coming back to next year, whatever.
I'm glad he did come back, because at the Canadian Grand Prix, I put a Flat Out Fever sticker on the front wing of his car, his Formula One car, not his street car. I put it on the front wing, and I never used this picture for anything. And I was like, oh man, now he's gonna be gone. I can't even like make a joke about it. But now I can use it next year, because probably they're not gonna let anyone. Somebody had to peel that sticker off.
Yeah,
he did crash the car that weekend though, so
He did.
I never found out though. I went frame by frame if you crashed the wing that I put the sticker on, because it was on the bottom of it, but maybe. Yeah, Julian Palmer somehow he finished a lap behind yesterday though, along with Nasser, Ericsson, Wehrlein, and Ocon. But a couple of those names are gonna have better chances for next year, right? Of the one lap behinders. Ocon?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, well, Ocon is going to have like a great time at Force India, especially if Force India keep doing what they've been doing, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was him over Wehrlein, which is kind of crazy. That just reminds me of something that Ted spoke about in the Notebook. That, remember in the middle of the year, after the Spanish Grand Prix, when when the two Mercedes crashed out. Some may say that it was Nico's fault. Some say that it was Lewis's fault. Who knows? Who knows really what happened? That incident, it just never got investigated, because the stewards decided that enough punishment was to take each other out. But Lewis, or apparently, like, if you didn't hear this from the podcast, so Ted Kravitz not from the podcast, from the race show, Ted Kravitz on his post-race notebook said that the rumor is that after that happened, Hamilton went up to the high-ups at Mercedes and was like, I'm not racing after this. I don't need this in my life. Yeah,
he said he quit.
Yeah.
And what you said earlier, when Brundle was walking alongside him and he was like, a good loser, and show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. And blah, blah. At that same 10-second interview, he also said, so we heard that after the Barcelona incident, when you guys crashed, that you were going to quit the team. And then Lewis said, that's private. We're not going to talk about that. And then he just walked away.
Yeah.
And then he said, that's private. It's not important anymore. And then Brundle was like, oh, of course not. Of course it's not. And then he asked him something else. So obviously it happened. So
he didn't deny it.
He didn't deny it.
He didn't deny it.
Of course not. Because it happened.
It was all, listen, it was all part of the of the mind games that Lewis is known for.
So some speculation on top of that is shortly after, Nico Rosberg signed a deal with Mercedes for 2 more years.
Yeah.
So
that's when they agreed to
there's
it because he said, yeah.
but there's some kind of speculation that Lewis drives the black Camry T. He's the number 1 driver
Yes.
right now.
So they have 2 number 1s, but everybody knows what's going on there. Yes.
Yeah, Lewis is the number 1 driver at Mercedes. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
And they wanted to ensure that they have a number 1 driver. Like, you can't lose both drivers, right?
Fair enough.
Because anyone, like, a lot of people like Rosberg and would take him from Mercedes, right? Just to take him from Mercedes, even the teams that could afford it, they might try to take him just to take him, to throw the whole team off, right?
Yeah.
And then, then they would have lost 2. So anyway, they locked him down for 2 years.
Remember, he was there since Mercedes was a thing. Since they made their comeback, they've had Nico Rosberg there. He's been there when Schumacher was racing from. Remember that?
When he unretired.
Yeah, and only to retire again. He was there through the whole Ross Brawn transition, from Ross Brawn to Toto Wolff and Paddy Lowe. He's seen it all, and he was, if anything, he was hoping after Schumacher left and they replaced him with Hamilton. He must have been hoping, hey, I'm the senior member in this team.
Give me that black tea.
Yeah, give me that black tea. Come on. And he hadn't gotten it. He didn't
Absolutely.
get it.
Yeah. If you go back to, like, I don't know, for sure we talked about this when it happened. He was pissed, man. They made Lewis the number 1 driver, or they made up that bullshit about having 2 number 1 drivers
that nobody bought. Nobody ever bought that.
And then around that same time is when they shuffled around with Pascal Wehrlein, because he's a Mercedes young driver, whatever, in their young drivers program.
That's actually exactly what happened. So Pascal Wehrlein, and actually Ocon was doing. Remember how after Spain they had the young drivers test in Spain? Yeah. So Ocon was doing their test for Mercedes, and remember, all of a sudden they got Wehrlein to go on do it. And that was the whole thing. Like, they wanted to, like, hedge your bet, like, just in case. I guess Lewis Hamilton actually, like, came good on his promise and told him to fuck off.
Which means Pascal Wehrlein, and look, he got points this season with the shittiest car, and his other teammates did not. He's got a future. He's got a future in Formula One. Oh yeah, with Mercedes somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. But anyway, that came about like after all of that. So something got mended inside Mercedes after that. You know what? It was a tough championship in every single regard, and clearly Lewis, which is the one thing. No, not necessarily the one thing. No, actually, like I said, like I told Tony, and I keep telling Tony's a guy that shows up to F1 at Betty's.
To Betty's.
Yeah, to Betty's to like watch the race. Like, hey, shout out to Tony, and he also
Tony.
He's a listener of the podcast. But like I told Tony, like I told you, Tony, listen, like he might like Nico is a deserved champion. He might not be like the most deserved champion, but he's a deserved champion. He's a deserved winner. He's not. Nobody's even talking. Well, I mean, some people are, but really, if you think about it, nobody's really even talking about Lewis and how he compares with Lewis. Everybody knows that. Everybody has it at the back of their head. Lewis is in raw pace and whatever in like raw skill. He is probably
in coolness, man.
In coolness too. The better driver, the more marketable. Bernie even said, Bernie has a thing with Rosberg. He even called
Bernie said it would be bad if Nico won the championship
because he's not as meme worthy as Lewis. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
He's not as friendly for the advertisers. But hey, listen. Did he fight and did he give it? Did he give it his best when it counted? As far as I can remember and as far as I can see this year, he did.
Yeah, he did.
And yes, he got lucky, and he got lucky this race, and he got lucky in many other races. Yeah, that's also true. But that's just
I don't think
that's
he really.
sport.
I don't think he really got lucky in this
If
race.
well,
He-
no, actually,
He had to fight
to
to second all the
yeah.
way. Yeah, and all
Well,
the weekend too.
In the sense that his engine didn't blow up at all this year, so it
Oh,
could have, right?
in that
so
sense.
he had that at least going for him, the reliability or whatever. And Lewis apparently has some sort of thing that he's gonna reveal 10 years from now in his book about the switching of the mechanics. And how that I don't know. I guess he believes that has something to do with it.
And then in the post race press conference, Lewis brought it up again.
Yeah.
And then Rosberg was like, "Oh my god!" He was just rubbing his hands in his face. He was looking down like he was gonna like punch Lewis in the face or cry. And he was like, "What the fuck? No, man!" Like he was upset when Lewis brought that up again. And all he just said was, "Oh, I love my mechanics, man. Like, we really gelled, and I know they've been working their hardest all year to help me win in these races that I have."
Yeah.
It was bullshit. I think he was pushing Nico's buttons at that point. I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, Max Verstappen, another great race, another show of great skill that he had.
Yeah.
And this other one, we can chuck it up to him being a great driver in the making.
Driver of the day. Oh,
No,
it was Vettel.
Vettel was.
So, yeah, it was Vettel.
Vettel was.
He got the Driver of the Year award, though.
Yes.
Because he won the most drivers of the day. 8 of them. 8 of them went to Max.
At least 3 of those we owe to the people of the Netherlands. But hey, the other 3, like he was.
No, he won. He got 8 of them.
This year he was the driver of the year
For sure.
He made the story. The stories have really captivated people. We saw it. We've been monitoring. Well, actually, not very closely, but after he started winning, after he started shaking things up, like we noticed it too. Like interest from the Netherlands picked up huge, and we saw it in our podcast. We saw it throughout, like Google searches coming from the Netherlands.
Orange power.
Yeah, and anything at this point, man, anything that brings more audiences to F1, I'm down with. And if
I like Max too,
hey, yeah,
as well as anything,
yeah,
he's a person.
He's human. Has he been controversial? Yes.
Yeah.
Is that not what we want? Yes,
Yes.
of course. That's exactly what people
he's
have
fun.
been asking.
But you know what? Like honestly, he started off being kind of a dick though, and
Well,
it seemed
I think you kind of have to when you're in F1.
well, and also when he was 17
Yeah.
from the start, like he was kind of a dick on camera. After he just like blew people off and stuff, and now he's like I don't know. You just kind of calm down a little bit, realize you're on TV and stuff. Okay, going down the racing line past 17, the 5 not finishers, Carlos Sainz.
Great. Well,
He didn't finish.
yeah, he didn't finish, but
He's the only one actually I don't remember what happened to him. What happened to Carlos Sainz? Do you remember?
no, actually.
Okay,
And this full disclaimer, I'm gonna say it right now, I was so drunk by like half the race.
oh my goodness.
I've been sitting at Betty's and I remember texting Petey before he showed up. I was like, Petey, it's the end of the year. I'm in a drinking mood. Holy shit. And part of me is glad that we don't have any more races coming for the rest of the year, because I need a fucking break from getting day drunk on Sundays.
Oh my god. Well, you need to go back and watch the race.
No. I remember most of it, but
Daniel Kvyat on that bicycle.
Jesus, the bike.
I wonder if he knew where the bike was there or something. Because do you remember he pulled off to the side?
Yeah.
And then it seemed like he was about to stop the car, and then he kept driving, and then we were like, "Why didn't he just stop there?" And then there was like another opening in the fence wall.
It's
But he had like a green granny bike waiting there for him, a bicycle.
It's great that they captured it all too. Like the people, somebody in F1, like one of the F1 directors, like thought like, you know what, this is gonna make for great content.
Plus, there was a marshal there who, like, right after he got out of the car, showed up and was waiting right away with a scooter to give him a lift back. He somehow got this bicycle.
Hey, listen, what's his? I don't remember who it was during the post show on Sky, saying like, "Oh my God, Danny Kvyat, like on that bike, like he was almost talking about it like it was a bad thing." But to me, as a guy,
how is that a bad thing?
I ride my bike around Toronto a lot, and I'm like, I saw Danny Kvyat choosing to just go the whole way on that little bike. I was like, you know what? You go, man. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, what else are you gonna do?
I just finally got a bike again at the start of August. It's so good. It's faster than walking. You get your exercise.
Yeah, I actually,
amazing.
If you're from, well, actually, yeah, Toronto's a weird city because you will like get around Toronto, especially the downtown core, way faster on a bike than anything else. Is weird.
What about Maxland? That's like the bicycle capital of the world. Near enough.
Yeah. Netherlands, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Maxland.
Maxland, right? Yes.
Netherlands.
I'm just gonna. Sorry, I have to keep going on this because it's to me it's hilarious. Right?
What?
I'm just scrolling down the Mercedes AMG F1 Facebook.
Twitter. Oh, Facebook. I don't do Facebook.
No, me either. But it's great to see. Okay? Because so throughout the season, I would wake up on a Monday and after like whenever Nico Rosberg won, I would just for fun go and check the the Mercedes Facebook the next morning because it was full with all kinds of gold. Trust me. All kinds of gold. And I just like to pull up some examples right now. Okay, so these are the top comments of some of the like the top comments from the fans out of some of the posts since Nico won. So there's a nice lovely picture. Actually, yeah, why don't I put this up here on the screen? Wait, let's just do this for a second because this is, to me, this is hilarious. Oh shit, oh, wait a second, I've been showing the wrong screen this entire time. Hang on. Anyway, so yeah, this is from the Mercedes Facebook. So this is basically the first thing that they posted right after Nico won. Right there. Oh, Merck is overfeeding us with Nico social media post. Where's Lewis? Merck has decided. They decided on the orchestrated championship winner. And like it's like basically since
like an echo of the Trump win.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, it's hilarious. So since this happened, like you know how like Facebook now has like these angry faces things that you can like rate. So
no, I don't.
Oh, well, so in Facebook right now you can choose to either like something, but if you like it, you can kind of like it. You don't have to like it. You can like choose a little icon to go with it, and one of them is the heart, the other one is like the like, but one of them is an angry face, and there's so many angry people on this picture.
Wow.
Okay, so and then I don't know, let's go up. Like, hope he gets so fired up that his engine blows is one of the comments. Okay, like Lewis, I think. Wait, like yeah, basically, like remember when everybody was screaming about the whole sabotage thing?
Yeah,
it's almost as this thing. If Nico wins the championship, I would say congratulations, but I can't say he deserves it. Lewis has been robbed by the reliability problems. And if it was what did I say? And if it was Nico's car that was to break down today, it would be justice for Lewis. Oh my god! And then this picture of the world. Oh, actually no, this is for Jensen. Never mind.
You gotta get this shit prepared, man.
Yeah, I know.
What are you doing over here?
I just saw. Okay. Never thought Paddy Lowe would stoop so low. If Lewis was driving so slow, why can't Rosberg just not overtake him? It's a race after all.
Okay. That I wanted to talk about that too, because it was
Okay.
either that, because Lewis was just blasting it in the first sector and then cruising through the second two.
Yeah.
But it's either that Rosberg just couldn't. Like Lewis was just, even though he's going slow, he was just placing his car and blocking him so well.
Nico Cheatberg.
What?
Cheatberg. Anyway, sorry, go on.
I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. I don't know.
No. Yeah. So the whole thing with Paddy Lowe, right? And like if he's such a good driver, why doesn't he overtake him? Like when he was bunching everybody down. That's a point of contention.
Or that he was scared that Lewis would just take him out. Right? If he did try to pass and win the race.
That's a huge What like
because he didn't even want to pass Verstappen, and then he mentioned it in every interview after the race that he was putting his hands in his head like, "Oh, anybody but Max, please."
and then I have crazy Max Verstappen behind me. Yeah, he said that. Yeah, he called him crazy Max Verstappen. Here's why this argument actually, to me, like honestly, and I know that like this clearly is just people not being objective when it matters.
Exact echo of what's happening in the States.
No. Let me explain. Okay, I just want to break this specific argument down. Oh no, not this one actually. The one that we were just talking about. So if he was such a great driver, then why didn't he just go and overtake Lewis? That's easier said than done, especially on like in dry conditions, on the same car that you have, and when so much is at stake. So you have those three things going for you. So yes, overtaking this either like your teammate or whomever else is obviously there's gonna be more chances of doing that or more opportunities that you could explore if there's shittier conditions, if it's humid, if it's cold, if it's whatever it might be, if it's an extreme condition, rain, cold, whatever, yes, you are going to like opportunities open up. Number one, it was as good a race in terms of weather as it could have been. So when the temperature is more normal, what happens is that we get a more, not necessarily more boring, but like the lines that people can take, there's definitely less lines around a corner that people can take to overtake and to try to gain time. The second is if you're competing with somebody that has your same car, the exact same car that you do, like i.e. your teammate, it's way harder to try and overtake than if you had somebody else, right? Like, so if the Mercedes was trying to overtake a Red Bull, they'd know that they'd had them on the long straights because of power alone. So you plan your strategy like that. You plan your attack like that. The fact that they were the two drivers, now obviously the fact that Lewis had, or Nico Rosberg had Lewis Hamilton to overtake would have played another part of it. Obviously you don't just go and try to overtake Lewis Hamilton, obviously not. But at the same time, if Rosberg was a thinking driver, which we pretty much can assume that he is, he probably had that into consideration. He's like, yeah, do I actually go this and try to go for it and try to overtake Lewis when he might actually either do something stupid, run me off the track, or put me in a position where I have to do something stupid, which is what happens a lot of the time when you're fighting with somebody like Lewis. It's like, yeah, you're either putting yourself in a position where you have to do something stupid, or they do something stupid within the rules.
Within the rules is what Lewis was doing, but he should have known that Lewis wouldn't crash him because then he loses the championship anyways. both cars
No.
crash and they lose the race.
Yeah, right. Like, but unnecessary risks that were not to be taken. Now, overtaking somebody, but come on, man, you must agree with me on this. Like saying, okay, Nico, overtake Lewis right now. That's tall order.
They wouldn't tell him that. Lewis is the number one driver, first of all. Plus, he was winning the race. Plus, they had a 1-2. Plus, it was the championship at stake. They wouldn't tell him that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the championship wasn't really at stake because Nico couldn't lose it anyways. Like, he could have stayed in bed on Sunday and been the Formula One World champion today. Either way, it doesn't matter. But, you know.
After all the engine problems you had to deal with this year and everything else, Mercedes, Toto, and Lauda have chucked your way with all the help they have giving Nico, i.e. pit stops, radio messages, changing of the engineers, cheeky looks at your data, and Nico not being able to turn a steering wheel, and somehow you still drove your heart out when the odds were against you. You still managed to win more races than the crybaby. You are the true champion for me. Hashtag Team LH.
Some of that is true. They did change the radio rules after Nico's some bitched about something that I forget exactly what happened, but he got a penalty for it, right?
Yeah.
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 That's not luck. That's bitching and being a little bitch. Nico, he didn't get his seat by accident either. He's got some sort of connection with Mercedes. He got a 5-point with. He got a big penalty for some kind of radio thing. Because remember, at the start of the season, there was some serious radio rules that you couldn't say stuff.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the year, after Rosberg, one of the Mercedes got a penalty for it. They're like, oh yeah, those rules are kind of silly, right? Let's just change them back. And then they just let everyone do whatever the fuck they want again. I kind of liked it, right? You got a lot. There was. Okay, as much cursing as there was this year on the radios, there was a lot more before the radio rules changed back. Would you agree on that? Or are you distracted?
I don't know, man, because the radio rules... Okay, so here's one thing that I remember at the very beginning.
There was
the radio rules were
useful
instituted
stuff for them to broadcast.
Yes.
So they played more cursing.
And that could have been an order from up high above, and we've talked about this before. How it could have just
absolutely.
been like,
that's what happened.
Yeah. But so we had these drivers that we thought, and I am 100% guilty of this. I remember saying this before the season started, whatever, that there were going to be drivers that we would notice that that they were at a severe disadvantage because of the radio rules. And one of the first ones that I pointed at was Nico Rosberg, 100%. Another driver that I knew, or that I know still, that like apparently does a lot of radio checking and is heavy on the radio, or used to be heavy on the radio, was Hulkenberg. Like, that was apparently like his deal too. Like, he used to be on the radio a lot. Anyway, so I thought that drivers like him, like, they would be severely affected. But in truth and in practice, you know what happened? They adapted. And
probably some code words that we didn't know about.
Listen, it doesn't matter what it was. At the end of the day, that to me, like, yet again, proved it.
They put more stuff on the steering wheel.
That they are also like this is why we watch Formula One, man. It's because sometimes we want to find flaws in these guys and say like, oh, you know, the one maybe is not as good of a driver, or this and this and that. But the fact is that these guys are still doing something incredible when they go out on track. Even just get one of these things going around for one lap is an amazing feat. And the fact that they can do it over and over and over and over again, it speaks a lot about their skill. And especially the top drivers, they're in that position for a reason. And all of them, as far as I could tell, including Rosberg, that won the championship, were obviously able to put or what some people would have considered a disadvantage, not having the radio anymore, and overcome it and work within what they were given, which to me it speaks a lot. I don't know. I don't know, but that's
Except he didn't though. Mercedes lobbied to have the rules changed back.
well,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was my whole point. They lobbied to have the rules changed back because Rosberg.
But he still delivered.
Holy
He still delivered
almighty
before
Rosberg.
that. He still delivered before that. He still won races before that.
He still bitched before that too, and afterwards. After they changed too, he never stopped. Never stopped bitching the whole time.
You know who hasn't stopped bitching the whole year except for the last race? Sebastian Vettel.
Vettel.
Yeah. No, he's been good.
You know, and had some fun.
Yeah.
The
Toro Rosso. We're being asked about Toro Rosso. So what happened with Toro Rosso? I think that what happened with Toro Rosso was very simple. It's an engine thing, and it's this year's an engine formula. They been running the Ferrari engine from last year.
From the moment that,
and sometimes it's competitive and sometimes it's not. But that was the fault with that engine.
Look at them to Sauber though; they have the same engine. Last
they
year's.
don't. Not this year. Sauber has the current.
Oh,
Yeah.
next year
Next
they're
year.
gonna keep the same one as this year.
Yeah.
But Toro Rosso, from the moment that the upper brass, whatever, at Red Bull Toro Rosso decided to amalgamate the teams together and basically keep more of a common chassis, more common parts between the teams.
Yeah.
Because they sort of had that in the beginning, and then they switched. Now they thought, well, maybe we could have some kind of advantage if one car is powered by Renault and one car is powered by Ferrari, and we kind of give them a bit more independence, and maybe one team discovers something that we can share or whatever. It's, find new technologies. But I guess it didn't work for them because now they're going double Renaults and common chassis parts and more stuff similar next year so they can compete more on a level playing ground. But I think more like the aero and other tech will be left open. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they'll have some windows there either side.
Here's from what
But yeah, I think from the moment that they amalgamated the teams this year, the thing is that Ferrari probably stopped supporting them as much, Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
They stopped with the support, and Toro Rosso stopped with their support of their own program, right? They just immediately start focusing on Renault-powered 2017 Toro Rosso.
Because they have to.
Yeah, from that moment. Because before that, they might have been half working on their program and not knowing if they're still going to be powered by Ferrari next year or Renault. Taiwan, sorry.
Well, we're talking about like things like you gotta consider the mounting points of the engine when it comes in.
Yeah.
And that changes the whole geometry of the back, and the geometry of the back matters so much that it changes the whole geometry of the car. So really, I mean, it's it's an important thing. You gotta get this stuff sorted out.
And just because we just mentioned it, we talked about this like a bit more deep a couple weeks ago. Yeah. But Sauber decided to keep the old Ferrari engine for next year because they had already been working on their chassis for next year. Had the bolt holes all set up and lined up where they're supposed to go for the old engine.
Yeah.
The new Ferrari engine is obviously different. Otherwise, they would have just dropped it in place and screwed it down.
It has to be different, of course.
Yeah, because all the rules are open.
Yeah.
So that's the reason. And then Sauber is essentially throwing away their next year, like Toro Rosso threw away their half year. Some might say with Korea. But I don't agree with that. Kvyat's cool. But yeah, anyways. I think that's what's up with Toro Rosso. And then towards the end there, like this was the last race on their last engine. And they just, like other teams probably, just said, all right, let's have some fun this weekend. Let's just fucking turn it up. Hopefully we make it to the end and let's just have some fun, man. Let's see if we can beat the rest of the mid-pack. I'm sure a bunch of teams had that philosophy.
Of course.
Because this was running out the engines to the end.
Yeah. You're on their last engines.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a do or die move, why not do it right now?
Valtteri Bottas. Did we ever find out? I don't know. I never found out, but he didn't break down. Something happened with the car, some sort of malfunction, and they backed him into the garage. He didn't crash or anything. Then K-Mag too. What happened with his? Do you remember?
No. Okay, hang on a second.
But he didn't crash either. Neither. Whatever. Who cares? Bottas next year, anyways, he gets to be the leader of Williams, but I think he's got some power nipping at his heels.
What, with Stroll? Are you kidding me? Okay, actually, hang on. We're
Canadian
not even talking about
Stroll.
20. No, we're not talking about next year yet. We'll save that for we'll save that for another podcast.
Tease.
The fact is, okay, I just want to take a second right now, like since we're reminiscing and all the rest, and I'm having a good beer in good company of you and everybody else that's listening right now.
The millions.
Yeah.
All 7 of you guys.
Yeah,
thanks,
all 7 of you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. What a great year for Formula One. And what a great way to end a great year this was. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about a race that, like, I was watching it with you, and everybody else at Betty's, but I was sitting close to you, to my left. Like, we had P there, Dave was there, but everybody around us. And, like, you even called me out, like, a few times for yelling in your ear. Because it was an exciting race. There was stuff going on all over the place.
You're a very loud person.
Yeah, I am. Especially when I get excited about something. But I was.
It was just right in my ear. That's
screaming up at the screen, up at what was going on, almost the entire race long, and this is not, like, let's be honest, Abu Dhabi it's not known for being an exciting race. So the fact that this year ended on such a high note, like, everybody, like you said, nobody knew what was going to happen until the second last lap or the last handful of laps, right? Anything could have happened. People were, Hamilton was backing RosbergDhabi into Verstappen. Something could have happened. If Verstappen could,
I was up on my knees on my chair.
Max Verstappen could have fucking destroyed Rosberg's race if he wanted to, if he had, been like, but. The race was great from beginning to end, and we had just come back from another amazing race in Brazil, and it just seems, like, contrary to what Louis the Grim has said on our on the chat, this year has actually been a year. Yes, there have been other years where 90% of the races are amazing races. We haven't had one of those years for a very long time. Basically, as far as I can tell, not a lot since I even started watching Formula One. Since the early 2000s, there hasn't been a year where it's been this unpredictable. We've talked.
It's the clutch paddle.
We've talked to. Tell me the truth, man. Like, trust me. We've talked to.
Yeah.
We've talked to people that have been following the sport since the Fangio days, and their prediction about this championship, now that I think about it, like, looking back, 0. Like, it's been 0. Like, nobody could have nobody expected this even halfway through the year, right? People came to Canada being like, oh yeah, Nico Rosberg, he's been doing a good job. Oh, that's cute. And then the way that, like, the season kept progressing, and then Verstappen adding his whole flair on things, and the fact that it's been proven now, this year has proven that you can still have a dominant team at the top and still a very exciting Formula One season. So where does that leave us? To me, that leaves us again with yet another crisis of identity.
What?
Yes.
What the fuck are you talking about? Next year's gonna be twice as amazing.
No. But listen, no. Here's one thing that I have to warn us all about, because we had been talking, and I count myself and one of the people that, like, would have been thinking about this. We have been talking about how like, F1 needs to be more competitive, needs to have, like, all these elements. Like we all have ideas of what F1 should be and the kind of elements that should be in place for F1 to, you know, go back to like the golden days. But the reality is that 2016 was a great year. We had a great end to the season to a great year. And if you were to just read it off a textbook, it might not sound like it was, because there was only one non-Mercedes winner. One. All year round, right? So you could pretty much predict that it was going to be either Nico or Lewis winning most of the year, and you would have been 50% chance of being right. So that on paper alone, like, doesn't seem like something that would be that exciting. So what is it? So what is exciting? What
was the shoeies? We had the excitement of the grim near death of Alonso. We fucking flipped his car over and almost died. Haas got a point in the first race. Max getting boosted up and Kvyat getting demoted. He got out the press, came back, and
so you're talking about
his rivalry with Vettel going up and down. Yes. Kimi Räikkönen destroying Vettel over the season and qualifying, and then, you know, maybe not so much in the race, but he got on top of him.
No, at least in the second part of the season, Kimi was dominant.
So much for sure. What I said over top of you before was the single clutch paddle. Mm-hmm. All the starts were good, and not just weird Sky biased or whatever. The Sky logic is to focus on Lewis at the start, but everyone up and down the grid had a lot of bad starts from the single clutch because it's down to skill. And the tech of implementing that clutch, to actuating it to make the clutch actually bite together. So much, man. The toying at the start of the season, looking back, it was fun. The knockouts, they tried something new. It didn't work. It was fun. As bad as it was, we got to laugh at it and be like, come on, like, what the fuck? Let's go. There was entire like 10-minute stretches of nothing, just a helicopter flying around, people looking around like, what the fuck? Did something break? So much stuff happened.
So here's what that tells me. Okay. Yeah. It tells me that F1 for some reason, more than anything, I guess what really appeals to us, what really gets us going, what really grinds our gears as F1 fans, is having great personalities on track.
Yeah, sure.
What do you mean?
Of course, sure. Of course.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And in the paddock and on TV.
Yeah.
And on your podcasts. But something scary. Ever since this happened, since Liberty took over.
Okay.
They figured out, they used some magic computer stuff. When the race starts, they keep putting a 30-foot tall Lewis and Rosberg around the first or second corner.
That graphic is amazing. It's one of my favorite graphics.
It looks pretty cool. Like the cars go between their legs and stuff.
We got the best graphics, don't we, folks?
Best graphics. Next year in 4K.
Yeah.
On that Sky. But yeah, it was a great year, man. It was so good. And next year, there's a new Formula era. We're going to get until the end of the Concorde with these fat cars, fat tires, low, deep wings, huge diffuser, giant front wings.
Yeah.
Ridiculous downforce. Fat necks. You're going to see some much fatter necks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. These tires are fucking huge.
Young people,
the new ones,
are going to be in F1. Lots of new drivers.
Yeah, a bunch of new young guys for sure.
And
Ocon's getting some prominence.
So that's another thing that we've seen this year. It's like the resurgence of the new drivers. For a while, the new people that joined F1 didn't impress one bit. Remember when Charles Pic came to F1? Does anybody even remember Charles Pic?
Formula E watchers.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, Formula E.
A couple of those guys, man. Jeff, remember?
Yeah,
Jean-Eric Verne.
Some people say that he had like more of a chance, but no, he didn't.
He's in Formula E.
Yeah,
Jerome D'Ambrosio.
No, but yeah. So
Paul Di Resta.
So all that.
These are all young guys that came through, and none of them clicked, right?
Exactly. And now
there's a bunch that somehow did all at once.
Yeah.
Verline is super cool. I keep saying his smooth voice.
Ocon.
It's gonna take him places. Yeah, Ocon's gonna probably do some stuff. Stoffel Van Dorn.
Hey,
I want to see him push push Alonso for sure.
Well, he's going to. He's going to.
Yeah, Max Verstappen. We've already been seeing him.
Let me tell you one thing right now.
Well,
as much as I am an Alonso fan, I know that Waffle Van Dorn is going to keep him honest. He's going to. He's going to keep him honest. He's going to keep Alonso on his toes because he's a great driver.
He's like 5 inches taller though. Alonso's got that advantage with the weight, right? You can place your ballast under your ass, right?
Yeah.
And the most important of all, Mr. Canada.
Oh yeah, well, Lance Stroll, we don't listen.
Let's Lance Stroll.
We've already talked enough about him. We'll know that he.
But anyways, just the last young guy. There's a bunch of cool young guys coming in on the grid next year.
I think
in prominent positions.
Yeah. Now they're going to be just.
Haryanto might even be back.
Oh fuck Haryanto! To be honest. Man, good race, good times, good year. Like, what else can we even say? Like, it's just been great all around. I cannot wait.
You don't want to talk about the blue paint on Yas Marina?
Well, no, of course. Yeah, keep talking.
No, I said you.
What's going on with the blue paint?
Well, you told me this fact.
Well, go on.
I don't know. It's some magic blue paint. It's like people's icons react to it the quickest, the easiest.
We talked about this last year.
I know.
So yeah.
You mentioned it on Sunday. I thought you wanted to talk.
Yeah, no. Well, whatever. Like, oh, dude, are we talking about the track?
Sure.
Yeah. Well. Okay, hang on a second.
I think
because here's one thing. So remember Travis when we were watching the race, he didn't remember that it was a daytime race before. I think the decision to bring it to be the sunset race, it couldn't have been better played out. Like it, and
this wasn't
honestly,
the first time.
Twice in a row now. We've had it 3 times in a row.
I think it's 3. I think they have a secret contract that they get a lock on the sunset
3 times in a row. Yeah,
I think they must, or at least an exclusivity period.
But before that, when it was just a daytime race, it was mostly boring or whatever. But I couldn't think of a track right now that would be better suited to host like the sunset race, because it's so different for them. It
looks so badass to the sky. It
starts bright and like everything is bright. You can see everything, and then by the time that it ends, 2 hours later, an hour and a half later, it's all dark, and you get all of the shades of the sunset, and not a single time, or I mean, in some angles, but most of the time, the sun is not in your eyes, so you can still race. The lights do a great job. The crowd is, well, I mean, as much as there can be, but the crowd is mostly there. And the track looks fantastic at night. So the fact that the championship ends there and it ends as a sunset, I think it all comes together. The track itself, there's a lot of people that shit on this track, and I think I have counted myself in that crew too. Like I have not necessarily said that this is the most exciting track ever, because it isn't. It is maybe a bit too technical. There's not that many chances for overtaking, but just having that as the backdrop, and that hotel with the whole LED display that they do, and the fireworks show, everything that they do, obviously is just because they have the money for it. But you know what? Whatever. To finish the year with that, I think it's great, and I think it's great that they have that lock on the that you say, and it's probably true. They probably have the lock on the sunset race,
at least for a few years, whatever, until their contract is renewed. What you said, when it was never a daytime race. It was built as a night circuit. Singapore had it first. The Singapore Grand Prix was a night race first, but the Yas Marina was built with the night race, and they actually have, because we laughed about this with Bernie's stupid idea. They have the sprinklers. The sprinklers installed there, because they're doing the Pirelli wet weather testing this week as well there. Yeah, which is ridiculous. Well, maybe they just spray salt water. I doubt it. Yeah, it was always a night race. But anyways, it's a badass circuit. It's a badass layout. I don't know, layout. The only thing I would say is I think I said this last year.
Oh, you're right. Yes, no, it was the nighttime. I am wrong. I apologize.
Yeah, they both. I think that's why they use that blue paint, like you're saying, because it's like fluorescent. It like glows. You can.
Oh yeah, no. When we looked it up last year, so it's Pantone something. Yeah, it's got
Pantone.
It's a specific
G90 or something kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a
But
specific.
paint names are always weird.
It's a specific color. It's a specific Pantone shade that is supposed to react. Like it's supposed to make your eyes react to it more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, at the night part, like now it's a sunset race. When the floodlights are on it, it looks like it glows like a construction vest. It's like fluoresces, like glows. Looks cool. And apparently it's all mixed with sand too. Well, I guess most of the runoffs are mixed up with some kind of sand for grip. So I guess for the the Emiratis, just use what you got. They've got some sand over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess whatever. It's over. We'll be back next year. Well, they'll be back next year to Abu Dhabi. The only thing I'll change, what I was gonna say, on the back straight, that super long straight.
Yeah.
The circuit's kind of cool, but the two almost back-to-back super long straights and then like 5 90-degree corners in a row. When they keep showing that helicopter shot on the super long straight, there's an S that could be used and they don't. Like, throw that in there. You don't need that big straight. Just cut a few laps off. The race will be almost as long because the cars will slow down. Cut a few laps off. That would cut off 1 or 2 laps anyways. Just slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. One day they will. There's
Hopefully.
that track especially, but a lot of the modern Tuki tracks have a lot of configurations.
Well, no,
When you look
they
from
have
above,
to because like they're supposed to be multi-purpose circuits, right? People are supposed to be able to use it for like club races all the way up to MotoGP.
Yeah, or even 2 races at once. I think that circuit you can cut into 2 circuits.
Oh, for real?
And they have a separate.
Okay, well that's weird.
Some of the even some of the old ones, like Silverstone has 2 pits.
Yeah.
A lot of them want them to do for like even when they set up in Canada, yeah.
You couldn't have 2 races going there in Silverstone. You couldn't. No, you couldn't.
I don't know about Silverstone, but yes, Marina, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
That's just the ridiculousness of how they build everything over there. It's the best ever.
Absolutely.
What do you got?
No. Okay, so intrinsically, I don't.
Yeah, we can't end this podcast anywhere near as good as the Formula 1 season or race ended. Like, we just kind of have to stop talking at one point about it, right?
Well,
like,
okay.
Did you have a grand finale planned
No,
for the race?
No, actually,
to talk about the season.
Well, to be honest, like that's why I was hoping that we would leave it for another one of the episodes.
Yeah, next week let's come back with a full proper season breakdown.
We will.
Yeah, next week we're gonna come back with a full season breakdown, race by race.
Before we do have to address the fact. Obviously, we do.
What?
Massa, Button, Heavy Blash.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So we're gonna do it.
Massa first. He was the first.
Yeah. We can do it all like in one whole segment. So yes, Massa. Great for Formula 1 in the sense that he kept like, listen, Brazilians are important to, like, if you're a Formula 1 fan or actually a fan of any international, like truly international sport, you have to have a Brazilian presence. I'm sorry, that's just how it goes. Brazilians, they're super into international sports.
It's a fucking huge country. They got a lot of people.
Yeah, but you have to have
a passionate.
Exactly.
They have a passionate heart to begin with.
They don't.
No matter what.
Yeah, they only know one speed, and it's go. It's like the Brazilians, when they're into something, they're into it like for the whole thing. They're into it all the way through, right? Brazilian fans are good for Formula 1, so therefore a Brazilian driver is good for Formula 1. And at the time when it seemed like Rubens Barrichello, who kind of took the torch for the Brazilian drivers after Senna died. Like, but to a lot of people, like Rubinho, although he was like a great guy, he was never championship material. So Massa took his step out, took his place at one point, and he got so close, and since then it's so close, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, he got so close. He almost, he was champion for like 20 seconds or something.
Lewis, okay, just pause there.
Yeah.
Lewis did this twice, then and now. Took the championship where people were on the edge of their seats to the last or second last lap.
Yeah,
he did it 2 times.
Yeah. Oh,
This time he lost, but it went down to the last minute, 2 minutes of the race, and 5 points of the season. 5 points is nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
but yeah. So yeah, Massa, what he did is amazing, and we can see repercussions of that.
You can see it in him, his heart and his emotion through his whole career, all the way like leaving teams and starting new teams. And
we've talked about how we've been going us to the Canadian Grand Prix for the last 5 years or so.
Years,
yeah, and every single time we have this spot that we like to watch the race at. And every single time, the people that beat us is this group of Brazilian Felipe Massa fans.
Yeah, they're there at like 5 a.m. or something.
Time.
They sleep overnight at the circuit. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So
super fans for sure.
Yeah, so they were there. They were there this year. They were there last year. It's hilarious. They're there every year. So we need those kind of fans in F1.
That kind of driver too, though. He was good. He was always always gave honest answers. He never talked shit about anyone. He's like, he always said, "Oh, somebody beat me." He never or almost never made an excuse. I think never. He had that heart that we're just talking about. Brazilians have for sure. But I think at the end of the day, like he represented for sure, like the border between the high average driver and it's not a disrespect, but like the low end of greatness.
Yes.
Like he didn't get that championship, but he was into the. He's one of the greats, but he represents the high end of the average driver.
Here's if he had gotten a world championship when he had the chance
at that time,
if he had gotten a world championship then, I think people would have. Not even a question. It wouldn't have even been a question of whether or not he was a deserving champion.
Yeah. There would be zero question. Of course not.
Not even a question.
No.
Yeah.
And he would have done it at home. That was the hardest part, is that he lost it by that small amount at home.
Yeah.
And this year, his last race at home, that he didn't finish and whatever, but it turned out to be the best thing for him, right?
I think so, and
the race stopped in the middle of the race to cheer, to celebrate his career for a minute.
He's got nothing to be ashamed of. His entire Formula One career, he's got nothing to be ashamed of. And he would have liked to have had that championship, but listen, sometimes she goes. You
know how good his Brazil experience was for him, because the rain helped him hide it, but he's not a guy that hides his tears anyways. He would have been. His whole family came out, the crowd, whatever. And to the point, Jenson Button said yesterday or Sunday that he's like, "Oh, I think I announced my retirement a bit too early." Like he should have saved it for the end, left it as a surprise or something. Or worked it differently. Massa had that planned out.
Oh yeah.
Which whatever. Good for him.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. But like at the same time, nobody's like, people in Abu Dhabi might not know specifically who he is, like, and a lot of people that show up to that race are just bajillionaires who are like fucking the championships in Dubai, just outside Dubai this weekend. Let's go party and go to one of the richest countries on earth. Just did that.
Yeah,
they're not at the end of the day gonna be cheering for Button.
No.
They just don't know who he is, but he got his due, man. He should have just announced it. He must have been thinking about it before Silverstone. He would have had that moment. Yeah. But at the same time, he's had enough other moments in his career too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Now,
not necessarily more than Massa.
Now that we're talking about Button. So Button, a world champion.
A world champion.
Call it what you will. call it, whatever. Like in this very same podcast,
we already talked about it. He earned his seat in that car,
Yes.
right? That's why he
won the championship.
Whoever was in that car might have won, but if he was the guy because he was the guy.
And that's the thing, yeah. No matter what you want to say, he's got that championship, and nobody can take that away from him. The same way that nobody can take Nico Rosberg's championship away from him. So
we're gonna see less nipple tweaks on the grid from now on, but
I'm gonna miss that.
That was a meaty farewell.
Yeah. You can grab the meaty bite there. But no, Jensen. Apparently, a lot of people see him as a great bloke. What a great bloke, that guy. Right?
Even Toto Wolff used the word bloke. That caught me when he said it.
Yeah, great bloke.
He's a great bloke. But I can't be anywhere near as deep.
Apparently, like off camera, and when he knows that the public isn't watching, he tends to be a bit of a prick.
A dick.
Yeah, but this, as far as we know, Jensen Button's fans, I'm just saying, it's hearsay, number one, and number two, I believe it because why? Like, listen, why wouldn't you be? If you're Jensen Button, you can probably allow yourself to be like a little bit of a prick, at least a little bit of a prick, and get away with it. You know how like some people, just his demeanor, like he'll be like nice to you, but like he can then like just say like a comment that's like a little bit prickish. But you're like, you know what? At the end of the day, you're Jensen Button, and
he's got to compete with Alonso every day.
Well, yeah, and exactly like so. The fact, and this year he was nowhere, but last year he actually like did. He did race the shit out of Alonso, and he qualified the shit out of Alonso. In some circuits, he will forever have that drive that he did in Canada 2011, from last to first in some of the most treacherous conditions that have ever been seen in an F1 circuit. So he'll forever have that, and I think, like, honestly, I think that drive alone will put him on the books more so than his championship. And that's what I guess that's what I meant by his championship, like having like an asterisk beside it, whatever his championship was. But then he proved he had that one brilliant moment, and you know what, that's all it takes to captivate our emotion, right? And Jensen is a guy that, like, I think most of us could like see and not necessarily relate, but like he's like the kind of guy that probably most of us wish we were a little bit more like, you know what I mean? Like in a way, like, Jesus Christ, driving fast cars, like hanging out with supermodels all the time, like doing triathlons, you know what I mean? Having that discipline. I think we all kind of wish we were a little bit more like
Jensen Button. Yeah.
Nice to the media, whatever. No, his whole story with his dad, the whole thing with his dad coming to the races, and like his dad was as much a personality as he was, and then he died and all that, and all this even crazy shit.
Brando mentioned his dad a few times, and then I was surprised he actually even asked Jensen on camera about his dad. He's like, how do you feel? I'm sure your dad's watching down right now. And Jensen said, well, I'm not sure if he gets Sky in heaven or how much it costs up there or whatever, but something like that. But yeah, like I was saying this, I think, by the time we had started the podcast by then. Obviously, we've been talking about F1 since before then. But I think, like, obviously his dad, anyone's dad dying hurts them. But I think I kept saying that, like, him wearing the pink helmet every weekend and for so long after his dad's death, it had to be slowing him down. And then it's like he's probably torn between, like, do I just go back to my regular helmet, and then I don't want to, like, disrespect my dad, or just keep thinking about it and I can't compete. For sure, like, his dad was there every weekend. Well, obviously he had a different relationship with his parents than somebody like Nico or Lewis, because Lewis's dad wasn't there this weekend, I don't know if we've seen him all season since he's got fired by Lewis. His mom came. I don't think she was there maybe once the rest of the season, or she came to hang out once a season, right?
Yeah.
His mom was there.
Yes.
And Nico Rosberg's parents both stayed in Dubai till after the season was until after the race was over, and then they came down to hang on.
Yeah.
I thought it was odd, to be honest. It seemed a bit like over dramatic of Nico. He mentioned a few times.
He mentioned it. Yeah, that's the thing. He mentioned it.
They asked him. The interviewers asked him, "How do you think your dad was watching? How do you think he felt? How do you think? Have you seen him? Have you talked to him?"
And he kept saying, "No, I haven't talked to him."
This guy, I haven't talked to him, but he's like, I hope he's okay. I hope he's all right after that. That was so intense, especially the last few laps. I hope my dad's all right. Honestly, like, I haven't seen him. I really hope he's okay. He said that a bunch of times.
He did.
It seemed kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then his mom seemed kind of like she was a bit wine drunk when Ted was talking to her. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And she kept saying, "Oh, we have a rule in our house that we don't talk about F1.
Yeah,
we don't talk about F1 at all.
Yeah.
We're talking about healthy vegetables and what kind of juice we're drinking."
She's such a mom. Too. She came across like such a mom.
But she was kind of like she seemed like she was kind of drunk. Like she's holding a glass of champagne.
Like most moms.
Ones. Can't handle the booze. It's, Mom, you're embarrassing me. I didn't see any interviews with his dad though.
No. His dad refuses to talk to the press.
Apparently he did though. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, to whoever he likes. To who he likes. It's fucking Gigi Rosberg. He's a bit of a prick too.
What does he have to prove? Look at that mustache.
Exactly.
He's still rocking the big hair and everything. Back when you got a garland for a trophy. Look at Graham Hill.
Oh man,
by the time you woke up in your hotel the next day,
man.
That was all dried out.
The FIA actually was looking into bringing this back, and honestly, I think that
why not, man? That's cool.
Should come back,
especially in this era of green consciousness.
Absolutely,
of course. What are you gonna do with a fucking 40-pound
even if
steel trophy? You can't get that on an airplane.
You know what? This was a compromise where they made it all of like all fancy and like
looks like it's made of brass or something.
Yeah, no, fuck that. Like a full like. And why not like give him like like a Nero's crown, whatever, man. Bring it all. This was badass.
Yeah, those are cool. Well, yeah, or maybe both at least.
Both.
The winner should get a garland.
Both.
Yeah, and especially like it'd be interesting to see too. Each country would show its local greenery, whatever's in season. Bring some flowers from the forest. And throw them around this guy's neck.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Guys, I think we're gonna. Well, I'm looking at the time right now. We're gonna cut it at this point.
You have to leave?
Yeah. Well, soon. Yeah.
Hey, did you see the Grand Tour this week?
Oh yeah. Actually, I have an opinion on that.
So do I. It was garbage.
It was. Okay, listen, it was not great, but I could kind of see what they were doing. They were really like they went full retard. Like they really were not taking it seriously.
No,
at all. The entire time.
Those real army guys, the army part, I wasn't even paying attention.
Oh man,
those real dudes were getting pissed.
Yes,
they were getting upset.
Yeah. Yeah, the Grand Tour wasn't great.
They're trying to do some.
But they kind of
Groundhog Day bullshit.
They kind of did like a similar silly thing in the last season of Top Gear. When they like went to this. No, but they took it to an extreme. This time around, they took it to an extreme.
It was so bad.
I loved the first episode. I didn't necessarily like this last one, but hey, they have 12 episodes this season, or 12 or 13, whatever. Anyway, I think we're pretty close to ending it now. So now that we have your guys' attention, if you stuck around this far, hey, thank you. Number one, number two, thank you again for subscribing, for listening to us, for sticking with us the entire season. We've learned a lot. We still have a lot that we want to achieve, and a lot of things that we have planned. for the next year and for years and episodes to come for the rest of the year and next year until the F1 starts again.
Absolutely.
We will be here. We will be covering all the side issues. We will be doing like a proper season recap and a proper like analysis of all the stories
Next week.
Yeah, in the weeks to come. But for now, honestly,
We got at least 10 or 12 weeks to do some serious, not race-related stuff.
oh yeah,
We can delve into the year,
And-
delve into next year,
and we will.
delve into the transition.
You can pretty much guarantee that we will. But for now, thank you everybody that has been listening to us, watching us for the year. If this is going to be the last podcast that you watch, if this is the first podcast that you watch, equally, thank you all. We do this really because we, like we said, we just love F1. We love to share our passion for the sport. People keep approaching us, asking us how they can help, how they can spread the word. Honestly,
Tell your
Just-
friends, hit that subscribe button.
yeah,
That's it.
hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Follow us on Twitter. Share.
Tell
our stuff.
strangers even.
Yeah,
Tell strangers.
we're still gonna keep going at this, and honestly, the more of you guys that we get listening and watching us,
The more the merrier. That's how the saying goes.
and the more stuff that we'll be able to get away with doing. And trust me, when we get away with doing some serious stuff, we will be doing some serious stuff. All right.
Those Grand Tour guys got away with some stuff, but I hope they're scrambling to re-edit the rest of the season because it was not good. It wasn't good.
All right, Danny. Now, some last couple words of wisdom
From
from
Who?
you.
From me?
Yeah.
Grand Tour guys, re-edit that shit, man. It was horrible.
What do you can't end the show on like a thing to
A
Grand Tour.
threat. That's
What,
a
what,
Grand
about,
Tour.
what about
Stop,
F1?
Stop pretending so
What
hard.
about F1 related?
Take tips from Grand Tour. Don't pretend. Don't pretend so hard. You guys watch the first 2 episodes. Don't pretend like that. Remember the old episodes? They used to be like they do some serious car shit, and then they'd maybe do like a little bit of like check under the hood, and there was a whole sandwich in there. And...